Gary, just how does it feel? How are you feeling after an incredible win?
Yeah, delighted, absolutely delighted. I mean, if you look at the statistics and the performances, the challenges against Minnesota prior to tonight, very tight games, a very difficult team to break down and to play against, and that's been borne out in some of those fixtures. The sending off obviously makes a hell of a difference to the game, but you know, we've been on the receiving end of that somewhat in previous weeks, and of course the situation as we saw it, fantastic ball from Dax, Jacobs in on goal, the movement's terrific. It unfortunately is what the game's about, and we took full advantage of that. Now, you know, we've been in many situations, and I've seen many games as well, where a 10-man group are tough to try and pick apart, but I thought the guys went for the jugular early, got a goal just before the break again to give us a little bit of a buffer, and you know, didn't let up on that. They made the night an enjoyable one, and it was a very professional performance in the end.
Yeah, Hany, 3 assists in a goal. It felt like you guys were clicking in the front line in a way that you haven't in the past few games. What, besides the sending off, do you feel like made the difference for you guys?
Yeah, I think we started the game pretty well, even though it was pretty even. But I think we were on top in the first 15 minutes, and yeah, I think of course the red card played a big role. But in the end, yeah, we even with one man up, you have to play like we did. We in practice. We have a lot of drills where you're one man up and you cannot even create a chance. So you know, we should take that just lightly. It was a great performance for the team, and hopefully it gives us a big lift for the semifinals.
Yeah, Gary, with what you now have to play for the next 2 games, how big an accomplishment is this just for the club, the trajectory, everything that you're going to be playing for now?
Well, I think overall we want to be in this position. That's what we're aiming for. You know, the guys sitting alongside me are hugely high caliber players, and if we're going to achieve anything, we've got to put ourselves in this spot. I don't think anyone was quite sure how the Leagues Cup was going to unfold, and I know I've said this a number of times, but it's become not only an enjoyable tournament, but a very, very competitive tournament as well. I don't think any of the teams we've run into have taken it lightly. We've had some hugely challenging games. It's been a period of time that I do believe the guys have gathered some momentum, some confidence, some belief again. And there's been some really, really good performances, especially here. The last 2 performances have been top draw. They really have. The schedule's difficult. You know, the quick turnaround for the guys is not easy at all. So, you know, there's an awful lot of credit and you know, a pat on the back for all of the guys that have been out there tonight. But for my lads, I think they've put in a tremendous shift, and as Hany's just said, there's been plenty of times in the work that we've done midweek that we've been nowhere near as clinical as we've seen tonight. So for me, that's a big step in the right direction.
It's Fraser, Hany, and Jacob. I know you're going to say one game at a time and whatever else, but in the semifinals of a tournament, it's an incredible opportunity to win some silverware. When can you start thinking about that?
I mean, if you're in the semifinal, if you're not starting to think about silverware, you make something wrong. I think in general, the Leagues Cup is a great tournament for us, and yeah, if you're in the semifinal, you want to win all. Otherwise, I always say that's an all cup competition. If you make it to the semis or quarterfinals, you should better win it all, because other than that, you should have days off and get some rest for your legs.
Gary, question for you. So with this big win tonight, what kind of message does that send to the rest of the clubs that are still in this tournament?
Well, I think to Hany's point, when you get to this stage, you know, you look around at the teams that, well, we know who our possible opponents are, and LAFC and Monterrey in their own rights are historically fantastic clubs. They've done ever so well. But it's amazing when you're in a one-off game and a cup competition, strange things happen. And maybe Monterrey win tonight in LA. Wouldn't be the strangest thing in the world, would it? And we host, again, one of the Mexican powerhouses here. The one thing I would say is the position we're in right now, and to Hany's point, the opportunity that the guys have, and the guys have created, give them an opportunity now to, you know, to really make a bit of a statement. Semi-finals are always difficult games, but you know what? It's great to be in it. We have a wonderful opportunity. We're in good form. We're confident, and guess what? If we get an opportunity to play the game here, I would hope there'll be a real good atmosphere, and our form has been very, very decent of late. So, plenty to look forward to.
Right in the middle. No,
Gary, you've already stated that you're very pleased with what you've seen tonight. No matter if the other team was playing with a man down or anything, especially because of what the team did. What is your opinion about the fact that you changed a few of the guys in there, and they are still the team look really well in terms of shape and tactical?
Yeah, again, huge credit to the players. There's some guys in there that we've seen rotate. You know, the easiest one, of course, we've seen Fafa in, and maybe Jacob, and that rotation of bodies. I mean, for the most part, you've got to look at the output of a lot of these players, and that's why I think the gentleman sitting to my right is so unique. You know, in the fact that not only is he so influential in his creative play, but I bet when I look at his pod and his meterage and loading and high speed runs, they'll be as high as anyone's on the field. And, you know, to me, it really does separate individuals like Hany from a lot of other guys. Now, getting back to your question, I think it was a time to maybe shift and change one or two bodies. You know, there are certain individuals that have been absolutely terrific to this point, and I certainly have not rotated because of poor form. But this competition and the way that it's been scheduled I think has given a lot of coaches a bit of a headache, certainly as we've moved into the latter rounds. We're playing every 3-4 days. This fixture in particular, after a very tough Club America game, you know, with only 3 days to prepare or in between, it is not easy for players at this level. So it warranted some fresher legs. To your point, Claudio, I thought those guys came in and performed exceptionally well. It's also wonderful to see Sam at the back of the net again. I'm sure somebody else would ask that question or pose how I believe Sam's moving on, but he's been terrific. You know, his energy looks high, he's enthusiastic, I think he's given everyone a real lift, and both centre forwards scored tonight. You know, it's good news.
Yeah, Jacob, you had a couple runs in space, and Dax was able to find you. I'm curious what it's been like playing with him, and how important he's been. And Hany, kind of a similar question for you. I think that's the second heel flick assist he's had to this season. Just how important has he been?
You stud.
I mean, he's a legend of the league, so it's always an honor to play with him. And it's nice playing with him because you just make those runs. You don't have to call for the ball. It's similar to Hany. It's like he just sees all the movement, so it makes it so much easier for me. Especially with the balls today, they're just perfectly in my stride, so it just makes it so much easier for me. Yeah, it's always amazing playing with him on the field. So gotta cherish every moment because he's getting a bit older, but we'll see. So it's great. He's a legend, so I love playing with him.
Yeah, I appreciate playing with him. It's my 4th season now. I enjoy having midfield players who see the field and see the picture. I think against Club America, the second goal we scored, that he sees it. You know, I make the run early, and I like to make these runs from the midfield. And you need players like him to find you, and I think today him and Brian was the perfect mix. Like one is absolutely ball winner and the other guy is the brain, and I think that was a really good combination.
Yeah, Gary, when all this first came about with the Leagues Cup, did you like the idea of pausing the season for a month and doing it the way it's been done?
Whenever there's change, I think there's a little bit of resistance. There's no doubt about that. I thought it was a strange situation to occur in the middle of a season, something very, very different. But a lot of things that have changed, whether in the game or in life in general, have been hugely positive. And I think the one question that remained for all coaches was, how was this actually going to play out? Was it going to be competitive? What was the scheduling going to be like? How difficult was it going to be? Were the fans going to turn up for the games that were being played? And I think we're starting to see that it's been embraced by the fans. It's certainly for the teams, for coaches and the players, it's been, I don't want to say a distraction from the league, but like any cup competitions, when there's an opportunity to win silverware in a short space of time, I think it engages the players. There's a bit more focus. For us, obviously it's gone on a little bit longer, so therefore there is that enjoyment, there is that belief that it can happen. But I can't speak for everyone else, but for ourselves, it's been a hugely beneficial period of time, and one that we certainly want to get the very most out of now, having got to this point.
Gary, to your point about rotation, was there any thought about getting Hany rest in the second half?
There was. Oh yeah.
That question.
And at that point, when I said I'm taking you off in a minute, he said no, I want to stay out here. I'm good. So there was the fortunate part of that was obviously that they were a player down, and there's a couple of things that certainly in his role, if you look around our group, all of the individuals that we want to talk about are so team oriented, and there's an awful lot of work that goes on off the ball, certainly when we don't have it, to restrict others, and Hany's no different. It gave us the opportunity for him to be a little bit more, choose the right terminology, but blasé about his defending, and be an outlet and concentrate more on what he could achieve creatively. My concern obviously with the way that the scheduling had gone was that he would stay out there and there would be a problem, but there's an awful lot of trust. When he says to me, I feel good and I want to stay out there, I trust that. He's got a great capacity, but Shaq took full advantage of that. I think he heard the conversation and said, well, can you get me off though?
Jacob, we've heard both of the school of thought that the fatigue kicks in when you're playing two, three games every week, and the other one is players really love going out there and playing 3 games a week. Where do you stand on that? How do you feel playing every 2-3 days now?
I mean, I wish I could do what Hany's doing. I'm not quite there yet. My body doesn't recover as fast as his. I'm trying to get to that top pro recovery area, but hopefully my body gets there soon. But I guess I'm in the middle. If my body can handle it, I'll go, but my body sometimes is not the greatest.
If I can just interject there, they're very different body types as well. The workload, I've already spoken about it, that Hany and some of the other guys, let's not forget, Daniel Lovitz, who churns out 90 minutes week in, week out. The guys that have played the full stint, Alex Mule, who is an absolute Trojan in terms of workload. The difference here is, I do think that guys like Jacob and Fafa are very explosive, and sometimes that recovery at the pace that they're working at is not always easy. I'm sure if we had some of the sports scientists in here, they could explain what the body's going through and how difficult that is. But I think that's part of the difficulty that someone like Jacob has. He's not unfit.
I do
That
love
is for
playing.
sure.
Okay, and we'll go with the final question, and that'll be on Zoom. John Lupo, go ahead.
A question for Gary and a question for Hany. So, Gary, we know it's never easy to play with a man up. Of course, you have the numerical advantage, but they could be even more dangerous after that. I thought the fact that you not only scored 5, but it was from 5 different goal scorers, you spread the offense out. Hany really ran the show from the midfield. Were you satisfied, not just the fact that you got 5 goals, but the way you attacked and the way you guys applied yourself and just the style of the way you played after you went up a man? And Hany, for you, playing with Sam, I know it's only been 2 matches, but playing with Sam, with how tall he is, his technical ability, his ability to find space when it's available to him, just talk about how he brings an added dimension to this offense and makes it even more dangerous.
Come on, you go first.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm really surprised. Like, I saw him, how tall he is, and you know, you don't see often that someone with this size is that good on the ball, and he's probably the most agile player I have seen with this size, or I have played with. And I think the ball he played to Luke, he has even the eyes to see the open play and can make a play. So I'm looking forward to play with him. You know, it's always good to play with great players and or with good players, and they will make you better and I will make him better. So that's a very good news for our club.
I'm not sure I can offer too much more tactical sort of insight than you have in your question. You asked me about spreading the team out and Hany dictating the game, and quite honestly, that really is all I could say. You answered your own question in the fact that the guys, I thought, were a tad more patient than we have been before. They picked their right moments. There was a good change of pace, but you're absolutely right that this gentleman alongside me ran the show creatively, and there were plenty of other guys that were just a little bit more thoughtful about their play and chose their right moment.
Okay, with that, we'll conclude today's press conference. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So much.
Good luck.